wish you peace and happiness and grounding. And this is actually a nice little segue into what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is one of my favorite topics in the arena of techniques and tools and awarenesses that I have as a TCM NLP coach. And you may have seen this around, but TCM is transformational coaching method and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And that's my spidey senses, as Brittany wanted to know. And her and I can have another conversation about all that's involved with those fun, magical tools that I have at my disposal now. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because stress, crises, pandemics, as it is, I mean, we have typical stress in our life on a regular day, and heck, we thought that was bad. And now we've got this big, huge pandemic and situations and all thrown out of our routines. So it could happen more often that you, as I spoke to one of our ladies yesterday, it's really post-traumatic stress again for some of us. It's like bumped up to a new level. And if you are not familiar with a traumatic or abusive or a significant stressful environment, now you know, because we're feeling it together in this pandemic. So anyway, but the reason why tonight I wanted to talk about parts is because situations like this, stressful, significant emotional events like this will kind of, let's say, stimulate or give birth to a part. And I will get more into that because I'm sure at this point you're thinking, Denise is a wacko. I don't know where she came from, but she's talking crazy. So I wanted to clarify, but I've heard this plenty of times, and I've also been there and I've said it myself, like a part of me just can't stop eating sweets or salty things or popcorn, or there's this part of me that just feels so guilty, or this part of me just like sabotages me every time I try to make a difference in my life, and so on. That's 3 of the many, many, many examples. And it's not actually a part that I could see in you or pick out of you. Like, it's not a part like that. It is sort of like a mini personality inside of you. It's very woo what I'm about to say. It's like a little energetic piece that at some point in your life kind of cleaved off and was created to do a certain job for you. And it's been doing that job for you so beautifully in your life, especially if you were a binger, a stress eater, an overeater, a smoker, a drinker. I know a friend of mine is a porn addict. And those parts of us that have these kind of tendencies to repeat certain behaviors over and over again, we call them in our lingo as parts. And let me refer to my notes because this is something I really want you to get so that you can come away from this conversation with a bit more awareness and a way to kind of work with it if you feel that you have a part. So I know you want to probably shut your phone off right now and run away and think, this girl is nuts, I'm leaving the group, but hang in there with me, okay? Because I hear it often, and you may not even realize it, but think back, or even in the past, or even like on a daily basis, oh, it's just a part of me, or man, there's this part of me, and you'll catch yourself. And that's where the realization, awareness starts coming in, going, do you ever refer to some part of you like it's acting against you, or it's this part of me just takes me away and it takes me to the fridge and I start eating, or oh gosh, like it's as if like it's taken you over and knocked out the sensible part of you. And I hear this from ladies too. It's like, I really know what to do, but I just don't do it. Maybe there's a part of you that is undermining your success and actually putting limits on you for a reason. Okay, so hang with me. The thing that I want you to understand from this is that You are not weird. You're not a freak. You're not alone. This is absolutely normal. In this respect that I'm speaking of, I'm not diving into a more medical model of this conversation. It is just from my perspective in my life of coaching. So hang with me. And as one of my clients said, it's not like you have multiple personalities. Like I said, this is not a medical thing. So you're not Sybil from that movie, okay? But let me put the part in perspective. So somewhere along the line in your life, you had to endure or make it through or survive a significant emotional event like trauma, like abuse. And it was either one big thing that really knocked you off your socks in so many ways, or it was lots of little things repeated over and over again. So what's happened is this usually happens unconsciously, like out of our awareness. And we unconsciously do the best that we can do, and it kind of becomes like this little piece, like this little version of your being that now has a job that it's going to protect you. And to give you a better example, one of my clients who was abused by her father, in order to cope with the shame, the disgust, the hateful feelings from him and how she felt about herself, she developed an eating disorder, and she learned to binge eat and use certain foods to comfort herself. And so as she perpetuated this part, the intention of the part, to basically calm her down, numb her out, make her feel protected and padded, she put on more and more weight. And you maybe think, well, that's terrible, and that's not a positive intention, or that's not a good job to have. But when you are really unconsciously suffering, scared, feeling alone, feeling abandoned, feeling like you don't belong and you don't have like any ground to stand on, in this instance, she created unconsciously this part of her that would use food to make her feel better and to pack on the pounds and the padding so that she would be protected from anybody else that could hurt her, or anything that could actually stop her from that awful experience again. Okay, that's just one example. I've got thousands. But if you feel that something is kind of off inside of you, or you have this like part of you, this piece of you, or this like bit, whatever you may call it, that kind of like comes in and becomes the boss of you, and it's like you lose yourself to that boss, and then the boss does its thing, and then you come back to reality. That could be a part working within your being. And from my standpoint in working with my clients, my aim is to help them kind of make and rejoin those parts, that they are whole again, so that what we say is they are congruent, so that their mind, their heart, their gut, their entire being is kind of on the same page, aligned, and is like, you know what? I have a positive intention for myself to eat well and lose weight, and that's what we want to focus on. And those other parts were sabotaging me and holding me back. So we need to clear them out. Okay, so hang with me. So if that sounds like you in any way, you can give me some love or likes, or you can shut the video off and run off scared. But trust me, hang with me. And if this is something that you know is going on within you and you're freaked out about it, you can send me a message and I will help you kind of get some clarity around it. So like I said before, do not feel like you're broken, or you're a freak, or you're alone, or something is weird with you, because it's things that we do in order to survive. And the other little sneaky part, issue, is that some may have been told that this is called like secondary gain. So in essence, you are benefiting from having this part running in your life, because it's doing something to either protect you, keep you safe, help you feel loved and belong in this world that you live in, however that world looks. So know that it could be working against you. And if you feel that you have tried every diet or every trend and every which way under the sun to break these habits, these cravings, these ways that you do what you do when you reach for food, you may have some sort of part broken off inside of you running the show, okay? And the key here is that there's usually with these parts some, like, it's like it has its own little personality. Like I said, it has its own set of beliefs, like it's just going to go right for the chips, and nothing stopping that part from getting those chips, digging down and eating them all and filling up your face until you are numb and you are satisfied and you are not feeling whatever it is. So there's actually like a little dynamic going on inside this part, like this little personality where it's like got a memory triggered, it's got a thinking part, it's got a feeling part, it's got a doing part, and it all does this so fast in order to keep you safe and protected, stuck where you are. If you're afraid of success or afraid of becoming who you really want to be or afraid of shedding those pounds, the part's doing what it needs to do to protect you and to keep you safe. And so you are gaining from that. So you'll hear me in my posts and my videos say, I'm meant to push you out of your comfort zone. Your part's going to keep you in your comfort zone. Okay? So, in saying all that, you might be thinking, well, heck, how do I get rid of that part? How do I make it go away? How do I become whole again? And let me just tell you, it is the most magical, wonderful, beautiful, transformational experience to watch a client integrate those parts, release those parts, become friends with those parts. Their entire face shifts, softens, flushes, their breathing slows down, their awareness slows down. Like, they just beam because they feel so relieved that those little antagonizing pieces, those little bosses and personalities running around, have finally been spoken to, hugged, loved, and addressed, and then they can be integrated and let go of that job that they've been doing. And then you have a new whole being where you can take steps forward easier because there's nothing going on that's kind of like knocking you off your path. So it's very exciting. And the tools that I use, we call them parts integration, and it's absolutely fabulous. But know that you do not have to be stuck. You do not have to do battle with yourself. If you feel that there's parts of you that are keeping you feeling stuck, guilty, self-sabotaging, craving, because there is help. You can do something about it. So the takeaways for you from me, if you were to examine this or spend some time journaling about it, or even talking to your phone about it, or grabbing a friend or an accountability partner, start to pay attention to what you say about yourself. And it usually is so fast. Like, you'll just be like, well, part of me, or part of me. And it's like a different voice, a different tone, a different pitch, possibly. And, clients have told me that their part has a color, a shape. It looks like someone they know, or it's a black bag, or there's a shadow there, or it's like something bizarre. And you'll know because it's kind of like a little blip in your computer program that's kind of like messing up your pathways of true health and being that you are. So pay attention if you're saying a part, or if you're thinking, man, there's a part of me, or quietly, however you do what you do, and jot it down. And then get really curious and be like, what is that part? Who is that part? Where did that part come from? Interesting. And just to make it a little easier on you, I know that when I did this exercise, one of the times that I've gone through this exercise, a part was my mother and a part was my father. And they were running different shows. Like they were each the boss of me in different ways, basically fighting against one another, sabotaging each other and me in the process. So when those parts were acknowledged and rejoined, it's like you birth something else inside of you. It's absolutely fabulous. So if you haven't turned off your video, I thank you for sticking with me and for listening to this very wild and wonderful aspect that could be you, and that's many of us, and you do not have to be afraid of it. You do not have to feel shame or blame yourself or get down and hard on yourself and think you're a kook, because you're not. It's just the power of your mind, your body, your being that created something to help you feel safe, to feel loved, to feel like a sense of belonging in your family unit, in your tribe, so to speak, growing up. So I'd love to hear from you. And if you are really like busting at the seams and you feel like you have these parts inside of you, send me a private message and we will start to investigate how this could be in your way. But I'd love to hear from you. And if you need clarification, I would be happy to share that below. But this is one of my absolute favorite tools to help a client become really whole and complete and aligned again, so that they are on the path to getting what they want and actually committing to and sticking to that plan to be that person that they want to be. So have fun with that little exercise and have a great rest of your evening, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.